provides a suite of services designed to help entrepreneurs run their business more successfully. And the highly successful Women in Business Breakfast Series brings women entrepreneurs together to network and share their experiences. I've invited Lorraine Wardy, who chairs these events, to come on the show today to discuss their next event, which is Friday, February 2nd, and features Eldonna Lewis Fernandez. Lorraine, welcome to Critical Mass Radio Show and Podcast.
Thank you, Richard.
It's great to have you here. Maybe we could start, before we talk about SCORE and the event, let's talk a little bit about you. What's your background and how did you become a SCORE mentor?
Well, I actually retired and I wanted to continue, but mostly I was in the sportswear business. I manufactured my own label for about 20 years. And Richard, I stumbled. I really got in it by accident, and all of my life it was difficult. And then in the fashion business, you don't share. You don't share anything.
No?
The color of a button, the length of a skirt could denote the next best trend.
Okay.
So nobody wants to share anything.
Got it.
It wasn't until I got into the portable sanitation business that I found the absolute value of a mentor.
Really?
I had people all around the industry wanting you to succeed with advice and helpful tips. And Barry Gump, as a matter of fact, God rest in peace, who owns Gump's here in California, was a fabulous man who was probably my best mentor in that area. So when I retired, I wanted to contribute to other people who might be looking for advice, ideas, a sounding board with someone who had already been there. So I joined SCORE and to donate my time and expertise to new and established businesses.
Mm-hmm. How long ago was that? I'm sorry.
That was about two and a half years ago.
Okay. And had you heard of SCORE before? Or what was your relationship with SCORE before you became a mentor?
Funny enough, I was a SCORE mentor in El Paso, Texas, in between businesses.
Okay.
Didn't last very long because I bought a business and then I didn't have time. But I loved the idea and the concept. SCORE is such a fabulous organization, and in many ways, maybe a hidden secret.
Yes.
So
well, we're here to change that today.
Well, great.
Right, for use.
Yes, thank you. SCORE is a nonprofit association dedicated to helping small business get off the ground, grow and achieve their goals through education and mentorship. We've been doing this for over 50 years.
Right.
And, Orange County is one of the largest chapters in the country.
I've heard that. I heard it's also one of the most active chapters in the
country.
Very.
When you have close to 111 mentors and they're all have been successful guys in either entrepreneurship or CEOs of large companies. Their value, their contribution is amazing. So the organization profits from all of this. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of dedicated people that do a lot of great dedicated things.
Right.
Behind the scenes and then also in front of the public mentoring.
Yeah, I think SCORE is an outstanding organization. So if you're a business entrepreneur, maybe an early stage founder of a company, regardless of where you are in the U.S., you should type in SCORE, SCORE, and find a local chapter and reach out to them. Hopefully you'll have a business plan they can review.
Well, we do have a local website, which is orangecountyscore.org.
Okay.
And, we don't only dedicate ourselves to small business. We really somewhat nurture businesses all along because we have the face-to-face mentor. Now we do video, we do Skype. We're getting very modern. And then also we do workshops, and we do we become your board in your business if you so desire. We have a section of our chapter that dedicates for that. Then we have a CEO forum that's for larger businesses. So it is just absolutely fantastic.
Great. So let's shift now and focus on we kind of talked about the different niches that SCORE services, and so I know them because I'm familiar with your brand. I see your mentors in the marketplace, and some of my clients have worked with SCORE. I too had the opportunity when I first launched this business 10 years ago to meet with an advisor, a mentor, and review my business plan, talk about kind of where we were going with the business. So that was very helpful. I wonder, from your perspective, maybe some of the people that you've helped you can answer this question through their words, but what do you think, in your experience, Lorraine, makes SCORE unique?
First of all, we have a selection of mentors unlike anybody else. You can see as many as you want, as often as you want.
Okay.
And it's free of charge. I don't know that there is any service you can pay even that you can get that type of expertise and skills and knowledge and desire to help you, because there is no pay. So our gratitude comes from seeing somebody succeed.
Right.
And our success stories are invaluable to us. So we do everything we can to get there.
And we're going to be talking in a minute here about the Women in Business series, The Breakfast. But if someone would like to understand more about what SCORE offers, you gave us the website, which is great to go to, and we're gonna touch on that again later in the interview. But what you talked about the workshops. I know that I'm on your newsletter, and you do many weekend free or low cost events.
We do most everything is free, and I hate to use that word because I think it diminishes the value.
Okay.
But there is no diminished value. On the contrary, I think that we are somewhat connected to the SBA. We're like an arm of the SBA, and the government felt that people that went to the SBA were not ready to go, so they introduced SCORE about 50 years ago.
Really?
To get people ready to go to their second or third step, the bank, the SBA, whatever they needed to do.
Right.
So we are, in a way, somewhat sponsored by the government, but we're not, that's why we're free. But it's not that there's no value to what we do.
Right. And so if someone's working with the SBA, maybe to get an SBA loan, would it be natural for them then to talk to a
Usually
SCORE
the
mentor?
SBA sends them to us. If they feel like they're not totally ready, or their business plan is not complete, or maybe they need a little more education or more information, they would send them to SCORE.
Right. And you said there's 100 plus mentors in
We
Orange
have
County?
about 100 plus members, and maybe probably 80% are mentors.
Okay. And what's the difference between a member and a mentor?
Well, other members might do, back behind the scenes.
Okay.
They might handle workshops, or they might direct traffic at some event, or, they might do other things that contribute to the chapter, but not necessarily a mentor.
Is there the opportunity to talk to more than one mentor? Because, you all have such deep experience in different areas.
You can talk to as many mentors. On occasion, you might need me for maybe retail or manufacturing.
Okay.
And you might need a CPA, or you might need some legal, or you might need somebody that has more experience in leases than I do. And, of course, I'm the first one to send them to someone that has more skills than I do in a particular field.
Right. So you guys all keep kind of office hours? Is that the way that works? Because I remember I met with my SCORE mentor in the office. Is it in Santa Ana?
We have an office in Santa Ana, and we have, let's put it that way, 4 desks there.
Okay.
And mentors volunteer according to their time schedules.
Sure.
Or maybe there's somebody there every Monday. I go somewhere, or we have different offices. We have satellite offices all over Orange County.
Oh, you do have satellite offices. That I didn't know. So is all this information made available on your website?
All of it.
Okay.
Yes, all of it. And, of course, we have a phone number. You can always call and get a live person that will direct you.
How about if I want to text? No, I'm just teasing.
You can do that, too. And, we're getting very, very proficient at this. We have great things in the pipeline to just make things easier for our clients to reach the mentors they want. We can self-schedule now on the website. You can go in there and find a mentor, find their skills, find their bio, and then also find times available.
Wow.
So you can just write yourself in and...
Well, there's no reason not to try that then, right?
It's invaluable, really invaluable. I started my business 40 years ago, and I don't know that I knew about SCORE, or maybe there wasn't anybody in my town.
Maybe.
But,
so you didn't do it here in
God.
Southern California?
No, I lived in Texas 50 years. I've been here 3.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to take a break here in about a minute. So in the minute I have left, how did you end up in Southern California from Texas?
My grandchildren, Richard.
Oh, that's the truth,
so,
right?
Yes, that's what brings everybody together, right? And I can't tell you how happy I am to be here.
How many do you have?
I have 5.
Yeah, 5?
3 children and 5 grandchildren.
Wow. Ages?
Well, actually, from 2 sons, they're aged between 11 and 13, all 5 of them.
Oh, my goodness. I have one granddaughter. She's 7 months old on the 24th, which is tomorrow. So it's wonderful being a grandparent, and my daughter lives close, so I can understand why you would move. Yes, Lorraine.
Yes.
All right, so my engineer is telling me it's time to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. But as the loyal listeners know, these breaks are like 30 seconds. Then we're going to talk about the Women in Business Breakfast Series, okay?
Awesome.
All right,
so
you don't want to go anywhere, because now we're going to be talking about what we featured at the Open, and this is a short word from me. And all of our shows can be heard anytime online on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker.com, several hundred former guest websites whose CEOs have been on our show. And, since 2009, March of 2009, when we first started broadcasting this show, we've reached hundreds of thousands of listeners through our live stream here on octalkradio.net, our podcast, our YouTube channel, Facebook Live, and the rest of the platforms. Simply type in Critical Mass Radio Show into your favorite podcasting software platform, and you'll automatically get our weekly interviews with exciting guests like Lorraine Wardy, and she's with SCORE. We've talked about SCORE during the first block. I'd like to shift our focus now to what you're chairing, which is the Women in Business Breakfast Series. So I had the good fortune to attend one of those events recently. It's a room full of energized entrepreneurs, mostly women, but not exclusively.
Not
because I was in the house.
That's right.
All right. So let's, before we talk specifically about the event that's coming up shortly, set some context for the Breakfast Series. What's the intention there?
The intention of the breakfast is to bring women and men, of course, together to network, listen to a wonderful speaker that has a good message, that has something they can take away that day to incorporate in their business or in their life. Not just a ha-ha message, but something interesting, of value, contemporary, that is happening now.
Right.
So I'm in charge of selecting the speakers, and believe me, it's wonderful. There's lots of them.
Okay.
But also challenging, because they really have to attach to the audience, and say something that is very relevant, that we want to have our listeners go and take with them.
Okay.
Because that's what makes our breakfast successful.
And how do you know when they're successful, the breakfast? I mean, as the chair for the event, what are you using as sort of a sense for, we hit the mark, this was valuable? Is it feedback?
Yes, I watch my audience, of course, and then I see the reaction while our speaker is going on, and the networking, and we have mentors there too, and it's a really wonderful event. And then we have feedback.
Okay.
We do send out a feedback page, and people tell us whether the food was warm.
Right.
They like the speaker.
Right.
They enjoyed the networking, the vendors. We have exhibitors too, which is a great venue to exhibit products or services, and people have been very successful at that.
So how many people do you tend to attract to your breakfast series?
We have anywhere between, I would say, 130 and 150.
Okay.
Any given Friday of our, we do this 4 times a year.
Okay.
And it's getting busier. It seems like people are registering earlier, and there's excitement in the air about it. And I'm glad to know that, the team that works behind this breakfast is really doing a good job, because that's the idea, right? I mean, it takes a team, yes.
Now you have your events at the Center Club?
All the events is at the Center Club every first Friday, once a quarter of February, May, August, and November.
Okay, so we're going to review that here in a little bit, but let's look at the one that's coming up on Friday, February the 2nd. Your speaker is Eldonna Lewis Fernandez, and I had the good fortune to sit beside her at the last meeting. I didn't realize she was the next speaker until you guys mentioned something, but she was a wonderful table mate. And why did you select her, and what would we hear if we can make this event?
Well, we're particularly excited about it because Eldonna speaks about negotiating. And I think that most people are afraid of that confrontation. Usually you find that negotiating could be a negative action.
Yeah.
And we're talking about negotiating a multi-million-dollar project, or where do we go to dinner? I'm talking about negotiating how to get your car repaired.
Sure.
So it's every day.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of us, especially women, are not raised with that kind of, fighting back kind of activity. And it's not always a fight back. It's always just a win-win. So I think Eldonna has a great message that our audience is going to enjoy very, very much this time.
It caught me, not to interrupt you, but it caught me because in your marketing, it's her tagline too, but I loved it. It said, if you want to learn how to get your ask in gear. I had to be very careful how I said that. But
Isn't that great?
That's awesome. That's
Yes.
That was kind of, it makes you stand up and think, okay, now this sounds like she's going to have some punch to what she's going to be delivering
And
as well.
she's a delightful woman.
Right.
She has a great personality, whom you met, right? And our audience is going to be very excited. We specifically want our audience to take something with them,
Yes.
to take something of value, to find that this is not just a social event, but they're going to learn something, maybe take something that will be helpful
Mm-hmm.
in their business or their life. Of course, network with other women, men that are in the same boat. And
Right.
and the exhibitors that really have a very good exposure
Uh-huh.
to their products and wares. So
Okay. So if someone wants to attend, that's pretty straightforward. You go and you register. If someone wants to exhibit, what would they do?
actually, it's the same. On our website, you can register for an exhibitor, or
Oh,
you
okay.
can register for
Okay.
a breakfast attendee.
Uh-huh.
And so all of it is right there on the website. It's orangecountyscore.org. You can pay on the website. We prefer that you make reservations,
Right.
because these breakfasts don't get out of the air. We
Right.
need to tell the
Yeah.
club how
the
many
Center
people.
Club wants a number.
Yes,
I
they do
host
want a
meetings there
number.
too that they wouldn't need to
And
know.
in this particular time, we're getting sold out. I mean, we've never been this busy this early.
Well, that's fantastic.
So we're real excited. So if anybody of your listeners wants to go, they need to register quick before we close the door, because we might just have to do that.
Wow, that would be unfortunate, but fortunate in some ways. That tells me you're probably getting a lot of repeat attendees.
We are.
That's my
We are,
sense.
Richard, and it's great because people write me back and say, I love the speaker this time.
Right.
And last time I had a great time. And so, yes, they find the value and they keep coming.
Right. Do you have plans to have men speakers at the women's conference, or is
I
this
think
usually
that if
women
we
speakers?
find the subject matter, the
Okay.
personality, etc., I'm relatively new to this.
Okay.
I've been doing this a little bit less than a year, so
Well, how did you get volunteered to be the chair for it
well,
then?
it's it's really such a wonderful event that I was honored to be asked.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah.
so
It's
yes,
a lot of work, though.
It is, but why not?
Everything is. Anything that's
Between the
worthwhile.
grandchildren and nothing, yes.
You got some
We
time
do
on your
this.
hands now.
That's right.
Right. And
Not a lot.
it's an awesome event. It probably takes you, a good amount of time to.
Well, I like to go listen to the speakers before
Sure.
I ask them to speak for
Sure.
us, and so it takes a while, but
Okay.
it's all fun and it's
Okay.
all entertaining and enlightening to me.
Right, and you brand it as a women in business series, but like I said, I went to your last one. I wasn't the only man in the room. What's your philosophy on having men attend this breakfast?
The women, I think that a lot of women's issues are highlighted lately. We need help, we need being exposed, we need whatever. But that doesn't mean men are not accepted. And of course, we have a lot of our mentors there who host our tables. And there's a lot of men in our mentors.
That's true.
So we have a good mixture of people. And
Right.
by no means would we want a male audience to feel out of place.
Right.
Because he wouldn't be.
Right. Well, and I think if you're listening to this, either the live stream on OC Talk Radio, maybe our Facebook page live, or maybe you're listening to it as a podcast from maybe Score's website or one of our platforms. If the speaker and the content resonate with you, the fact that it's branded as a women's in business speaker series shouldn't keep men entrepreneurs and business owners from coming, right?
No.
Because I got a lot from RV, and I'm sure the attendees will get a lot from Eldonna as well. I wish I could make this meeting, this event. She sounds like a great. Having sat with her, I feel like I know her, and I'm sure her content's going to be awesome.
I think so too.
Okay, so let's look at kind of the final thing that I wanted to talk to you today about, which is how does what you're doing fit into the larger scope of what the mission and the vision for SCORE is here in Orange County?
I can only speak kind of for myself, and I
Okay.
think it's one client at a time. For me, I don't do workshops. I don't deal with a whole lot of big community. But it seems like my skill set is not very heavily represented out there. I get calls from all over the country, actually. I mentor people
Wow.
through Skype. I got a call the other day from Wisconsin, and then another one from Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
People looking to get into manufacturing or designing clothing or retail.
Well, that's great
or,
to hear that's happening in the
something.
U.S., right? Manufacturing, and that's
Isn't that great?
awesome.
Well,
yes.
the creativity of our American women
Yes.
is out there alive and well, and
Okay.
they want to create the T-shirt, a garment, or this or that. So, and they need a little bit of guidance. So that's a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
And then, I have, do we have time for a little example I'll give you?
Yes, please do.
Well, I had a gal come in. She's from Europe, and she wanted to open a store here in California. And she wanted to bring stuff from Europe, and I didn't like the idea. And, of course, I don't ever want to crush anybody's dreams because the whole idea is that they come to me after having thought about it a long time.
Right.
But I want to point out to them the drawbacks that they might find along the way, maybe 6 months down the line, a year down the line, which is very hard for a new person to imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And once I described to her that she probably had to invest maybe $400,000 to $500,000 worth of money between a lease and remodel and merchandise and project and all of that, without testing her product, I didn't think it would be a good idea. So I sent her home to think about it again. I felt that she was a great innovator and a good entrepreneur and a good spirit and passion,
Right.
but maybe not that direction.
Oh, wow.
And I think I saved her from a lot of heartaches. She's now a distributor of a line of jewelry from Spain here in Southern California. She just launched her website.
Nice.
She was featured in Harper's Bazaar.
Wow.
The actors in the runway for the awards wore her stuff. I mean, she's amazing.
Wow.
How fast she's kind of grown her network.
Right.
And she's happier. She's home. She doesn't have to deal with a retail store 10 to 10 and employees and all of this. So that was a big win for me because she's satisfied. She's happy. And I think that she's going to be very successful.
What a great way to end the show, Lorraine. That's
Thank
a
you.
wonderful story. Now, tell the audience one more time, if they want to learn more about your breakfast series or maybe the SCORE offerings in general, where would you direct them to go online?
Go to orangecountyscore.gov. Don't forget the gov for G-O-V. And then our phone number is 714-550-7369. And our website is very, very, has everything in it. I mean, and it has a fabulous library besides.
Right.
And all the workshops that are listed, and our mentors, and of course the breakfast. You can register and pay online.
There you go.
And do it quick before we close the doors.
The thing is selling out fast, ladies and gentlemen.
It is.
Don't
Richard.
waste time. All
Thank
right.
you for having me. This has been a treat.
It's been a great treat, and I'd like to have you back and other members of the SCORE community on the radio show from
Absolutely.
time
I'm
to
sure
time.
they would love to come. Everybody has a different story to tell. So
Exactly.
yes, please call on us.
All right.
We would love it.
I'd like to also thank our engineer for today, none other than Paul Roberts. Our producers are Joan Park, Crystal Nunley, and Haley Stern. If you'd like to connect with me on Twitter, I'm CEO Peer Groups. On LinkedIn, I'm Richard Rick Franzi, Franzi. And my website is Critical Mass 4, F-O-R, criticalmass4business.com. Until our next show, I hope all of your business decisions will move your company in a positive direction.